The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences only, so don't tell your parents! Listener discretion is advised.
I don't forgive.
You don't forget?
I don't forget either.
Kyle can hold a grudge, man.
I really can.
You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, your weekly home for animation reviews and discussions.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Ink and Paint Club podcast. My name is JD, and I'm very tired because I just woke up from a nap. But thank you for joining us again, and we're continuing our little series of Christmas episodes because, you know, we have lacked on Christmas episodes in the past, so we're doing a bunch of them in a row. Anyway, yes, my name is JD, and joining me is Kyle.
Yo.
Hello. And also joining us is Matt.
Hi.
The trio is all here.
Yes.
Yeah.
We almost weren't. It took every ounce of everyone's being to be here. But we're here.
It really meant, I think it was more like every ounce of my being, because I fell asleep and then I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. And then I think I fell asleep for like another hour.
No, but I mean, we were going to try to record yesterday and then we didn't. Yeah.
Holiday times is serious times, everybody.
Yeah, we're all busy, but we're going to make time for all y'all out there to talk about some Christmas stuff.
We are committed.
So we're already committed because the Grinch episode's out and you said we're doing 5 episodes. So
yeah,
now we got to do 5 episodes.
So it's kind of strange that we reviewed the first and second season of Aggretsuko, but neglected to do the Christmas special that aired in between them. So we're gonna rectify that right now.
I don't even remember if we just folded it into season 2 or not.
We might have. So I apologize if we're repeating ourselves. But
yeah, I was gonna ask if you guys mentioned it at all because
I don't remember, honestly. It was earlier this year, so
that was a lifetime ago.
We were different people then.
Yeah, because
younger.
It's interesting.
Foolish.
It's very interesting because I haven't watched all of season 2 yet. But when it came out, I got like 5 episodes in, and then I got sidetracked to something else. I haven't gotten back to rewatching it yet. But this holiday special, it does take place in canonically between seasons 1 and 2. Like the actual content in it takes place immediately after the ending of season 1, like with Haida in the hospital bed admitting that he's got like feelings for Retsuko.
Right.
Which was pretty interesting because, like, you know, as most holiday specials go, they tend to take place not necessarily. Well, I mean, most of them are kind of like out of time. They're trying to be like, you know, not all holiday specials are trying to be timeless, I guess. But it's just weird to have. It's weird to be like specifically the bridge between seasons 1 and 2. Like it's neat to see, but it's with Netflix's way that they categorize stuff, I feel like people could miss it.
Okay, yeah, so you and I were kind of talking off mic about this last week. Yeah, so I don't really like the way Netflix categorizes things. Because anytime that a show has like a kind of like a holiday special or like really any kind of special episode, Netflix will throw it into its own separate page instead of like including it with the rest of the show.
So you'd really only see it if you're looking up the results for, like, if you looked up Aggretsuko in the search function, then you'd get the show and then you get the holiday special. But if you went to the show page, it just has the seasons of the show. It doesn't have the holiday special. And so unless you're like a really avid user of Netflix, when stuff debuts and they have like the little, you know, they show you what's new and everything, you could potentially miss it.
Right. And I mean, because we reviewed the Captain Underpants Halloween special earlier this year, and that's its own separate thing. But it's not really like that. You don't need to watch that in any specific order. But I feel like for this special, because it takes place directly after this first season, it is so easy to miss this if like you weren't watching it when it came out. Because if you're watching it just with Netflix, or just the way Netflix has it set up right now, you'd watch the last episode of season 1 and Netflix will autoplay into season 2 without playing this. And it's like, well, you kind of need to see this because, you know, it deals with the aftermath of like the cliffhanger of the end of season 1. So, I mean,
yeah. So I was trying to remember because I did see like those first like 4 or 5 episodes, but I was trying to remember if the first episode of season 2 addresses it in any way, just in case like you didn't watch the holiday special, if it sort of not like a wrap up of like what happened in it, or if they just sort of readdress it.
I don't think they do.
No, yeah, I think the Christmas special is more of a coda to the first season, and the second season kind of like picks up on its own thing when it starts.
Sure.
But yeah, so I mean, Netflix, get your shit together.
Well, and then well, honestly, it's not that. Like I said, it's really it's a really unique situation because this is the only. I mean, of course, I don't watch every single Christmas special for Netflix originals on the service, so I can't speak for them all. But it was just really interesting to see happen. Like it's just such a weird instance that it's worth noting.
Right. But yeah, enough griping about Netflix's organizational skills. So yeah, like Matt said, this the end of the last season, like Haida ends up in the hospital, and you know, finally confesses to Retsuko that he likes her, and that kind of ended on that. And this picks up right at that moment, and you know, Retsuko kind of shoots him down. It's kind of sad, honestly, but
You know what's funny?
what?
We actually did do this because I remember talking about it.
Well, too
We're gonna
bad.
do it again. Yeah, because
Too
I
bad.
remember when we
Well, Matt
recorded
wasn't here last time.
Well, that's true. And I remember when we recorded it, I said that this was like a giant commercial for Instagram.
Yeah, that's another weird thing too, because I don't remember, at least in season 1, season 2 could be a different story. I don't remember there being a lot of product placement, but like Instagram in this universe is just straight up Instagram, and the whole episode revolves around Retsuko like sort of being taken under the wing of is it Sonoda?
The little
like,
deer girl.
Yeah. To sort of be like the Instagram mentor, where like she's staging like all these, you know, photos and shit because she's gets addicted to the attention, or like, you know, the likes and the comments and stuff.
If I remember correctly, though, the first season did have Instagram because, or maybe this was the introduction. I don't remember, because she actually does have an account at that name if you look it up.
Yeah, you can totally go to Retsuko's Instagram account. There's like hardly anything on it, but
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's like it's like a little tie-in, like
yeah, kind of.
So is
Yeah.
it like it's like an in-universe thing? So if you went to Retsuko's Instagram, like for the real Instagram, like it would
Yeah,
have
like,
the
you
photos
can-
from the show.
Yeah, if you take Retsuko's username that they show in the show, it's an actual Instagram account.
Oh, that's fun. That's kind of like
It's
Oh,
funny
sorry.
because when the dates that correspond to it, I think she actually does upload them.
oh wow. Yeah, I was gonna say there's a I know Kyle doesn't watch Steven Universe, but there's an episode that they did where one of the characters, Peridot, she finds out what the internet is, and she makes a Twitter account, and one of the storyboarders at the time made a Twitter account for Peridot, but they made it like way back before Peridot was even introduced in the show. And so it's interesting, but yeah, and they were releasing Twitter posts that happened like during specific episodes. It stopped uploading after a while because I think the storyboard artist left, but that's like the equivalent to that. So that's pretty interesting
Right.
to see happen too.
Pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So honestly, like watching Retsuko become like an Instagram person is actually kind of depressing after a while. Because it's like she's trying, like everyone's like getting on her about like, oh, you need to make Christmas plans or whatever. And she doesn't end up finding anybody, or at least something that she wants or whatever. So she's like staging fake dinner plans. It's actually kind of funny watching Fenico like
the
be Instagram cop.
Yeah.
Like just like walk you through like how like she's faking it, and it's like you can see the reflection in the cup. Like this cup is clearly like one of those plastic cups and everything. It's like, damn.
It's like a cheap cut of fish that you get from like 7-Eleven.
Right. It's like she totally just casually her. She's dressing everything up. Honestly, like it is kind of sad that Haida gets turned down. But at the same time, like I kind of don't want him and Retsuko to get together because I feel like that's like a little cliche.
Well, that's also like for a lot of these types of shows, that's kind of like the goal. So of course, if it ends up happening, it's not going to happen this soon into the show.
Right. It'd probably be like one of the last things that happens.
Yeah.
But I fucking hate shipping, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if it's like do you mean like fan stuff, or do you mean like actual stuff that happens in the show? Like,
oh, just absolute like fan stuff. You see fans going, "Oh, I hope they get together," and dumb shit like this. It's like, I hate it, man. They want him to go with Fenico, or I don't like it, man. I don't like it.
I guess that's fair. I mean, I don't know. I like all the fan content that comes from it. Like, it's all fun stuff. So I can understand why you wouldn't like it, though, because I mean, there's a certain aspect of it where it kind of gets out of control for some people.
Let me just say, furries ruin everything. And I have proof. I have photographic evidence.
Yeah, because Kyle, you went to the Aggretsuko pop-up shop when the creator and everything was there.
Yeah, and the furries invaded, and it was a trip, man.
Didn't they tell them to leave?
I think they told them to fuck off.
Because they were being weird.
As everyone should tell furries to fuck off.
We're not saying all furries are weird. I'm just saying.
Sorry to all our furry listeners out there. Kyle doesn't speak for all of us.
I say, get your degenerate shit out of here.
I will say that not all furries are degenerates, but there is a vocal minority that are. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, it's like that with like most fan bases, though. It's always the most. It's always the people that you hear about, like on Twitter, like gets blown out of, Yeah, it's like you said, the vocal minority for sure. But it's like that with any fan base.
It is a majority, and not a minority.
Well, I just avoid major fandoms altogether because I kind of agree with Kyle. They kind of do ruin everything, but
that's a fair move to make.
I talk with the things I like with my friends who are like-minded and don't get weird about stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you're not into Homestuck?
I never got into Homestuck.
Me either.
Okay, correction. I tried to read Homestuck. I found it very confusing, so I'm like, not for me.
I tried to keep up with it for a while just because I was a big fan of Hussey's the comic he did before that, which was why am I blanking on the name right now? Well, anyway, yeah, I was a fan of his before that, and then I kind of dropped off, and then it became this huge ass thing. I'm just like, oh, there's no way I can get back into this. It's become way too. Well, anyway, this show's not about that. This show's about Aggretsuko. So I do like the plot of this, though it just sort of plays out like a regular episode. Like it's definitely holiday themed, but I don't know. I don't know that this necessarily needed to be its own special. Or because
it's just, I mean, the only reason it is because it's longer than a normal episode.
Yeah.
Is it though, or is it like is it?
It's like 22 minutes, and
Oh, it was a regular. Oh yeah, a regular episode is just 11 minutes, huh?
Yeah, so it's
wow.
it's a double length episode.
Okay.
But I still
then
think
that's- yeah.
I still think they could just. I think Netflix could set it up where it's like, a little separate special category in between seasons.
Yeah,
so you would watch it still.
Yeah, I remember us discussing that before too, because that's how it's laid out, like on the Wikipedia page, even like the episode guide. They have like the first 10 episodes of season 1, then just in between it says extra, and then after that it's just the rest of is all season 2, and it's like that'd make it so much easier for people watching on Netflix to be like, oh hey, cool, there's this Christmas special that I didn't miss because it's part of the collection page, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, there was also what's it called? TBS shorts or some shit.
The originals, the ones they did before this show existed.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, like the original web shorts. I was wondering if they were gonna like add those like eventually, like I don't know, make a big compilation of them all, or
it'd be neat to see them actually dubbed. I think they're only subbed, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah, as far as I know.
I was just talking to JD. It was weird because I know it is, and it's dumb to say in a sense, but it was the fact that when I was looking for this, I'm looking down in a list of cartoons and I couldn't find it. And I was like, oh yeah, it's an anime. It's just something that I'm not even thinking of. It's just silly cartoon animals, and I'm not thinking it's an anime at all.
Yeah, because especially given the look of it, it's not. I mean, when you think anime, you have a specific like thing in mind when you're looking at it.
Yeah,
and of course, Sanrio products like Hello Kitty and all that stuff. Like, it's very, you think of it and you think, Japan, but you don't necessarily think anime. You think of like sort of like a sort of, I guess like pop art or like.
Well, I mean, I was telling Kyle, we kind of got into a little discussion about it. I was watching that Rilakkuma like stop motion series.
Oh,
like,
I still gotta watch that.
It's a cute little show, but it's kind of the same thing where it's like I'm hard pressed to actually straight up call it anime, because it's like, well, yes, it's made in Japan, but it's stop motion, and so
yeah, it gets a little tricky.
It is, but it isn't. So I mean,
it's like like a stop motion movie in America. Would you call it a cartoon?
It's animated.
Honestly, it's animated, yes, but like what I consider a cartoon, probably not, I would probably say it's a stop motion cartoon. It may be.
I mean, I tend to stick with. I mean, I would say
it's stop motion. Honestly,
yeah,
it's a form of animation, yes, but it's not like what I consider a cartoon. Like cartoon is like 2D or 3D animated, and even 3D I'm hard pressed to call a cartoon.
Yeah, it just once you start getting into the particulars of stuff, it gets a little harder to sort of categorize it. It's kind of like the other thing in regards to calling something an anime, like this would absolutely apply, but Panty and Stocking. You look at that show and it doesn't look anything like a typical Japanese animated cartoon, just because of the style of it is so reminiscent of Western cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was telling JD it's just umbrella term Japanimation.
Pretty much, yeah. So I mean, technically, yes, it is anime, but it's not at the same time. But
yeah,
you call it whatever you want. Netflix calls Retsuko an anime. It says it's a Netflix anime. So
and they put the money behind it.
I would call it an anime too.
They call it an anime. I guess it's an anime.
Yep. So there you go.
I mean, I would call it an anime too. It's just something that you're not thinking of.
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. But yeah, this is I like that they kind of they ended the first season on a bit of a cliffhanger, and they kind of resolve it, but then have the story kind of go in a different direction, and kind of be its own little thing. I'm not so sure this need to be like a Christmas special per se, but I did like the whole sub thing of, you know, Retsuko not having Christmas plans and kind of depressingly having to make up, but she eventually goes and gets ramen with her friends, and
she even ends up on the train with Haida at the very end. Haida, so that's a whole other thing too. Is Haida the whole time is just sort of dragging his feet, like trying to invite Retsuko to a thing at a punk bar that he goes to. So that's something that in season 1 they kind of show a little bit of, like Haida's outside of work life is like, you know, he's into punk rock, kind of like, you know, Retsuko's into metal, and so like you actually see him like in a punk rock bar in here, and it's nice to see that more of that side of his personality. I'm not sure if they explore that more in season 2, but
it's been a while since I've seen season 2, so I'm not sure. Remember,
I don't think they focus too much on him. I think it's more or less the relationship between her and the horse Tadano.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time on that.
So that was, as far as I got into season 2, was I think they just introduced him. It was like the DMV episode. Like I got there and then I dropped off. So I'll tell you what, though. I mean, rewatching the holiday special did make me want to go and watch season 2. So I'm definitely going to do that soon after we get through all this holiday stuff.
It's great, man. I need to download the entire series. Yeah. I fucking love everything about it. I love the art direction. I love the music in it. It's just fucking great. Everything's great.
Even the dub is really good too. Like I watched them originally like in Japanese just to kind of get a feel for how its original direction, and then watching the dub, like they do a really good job. The casting is very good.
Yeah,
her voice is very adorable.
I thought you were about to say very kawaii.
It's kawaii desi.
I'm not a fucking nerd like that.
I don't know. The idea of you saying that in my head was very funny.
Oh, that'll never happen.
I'll make it happen someday.
Anyways,
yeah.
So, if for whatever reason you haven't watched this,
if you missed it because Netflix's categorization is shit, then you know about it now, and you should go watch it because it's a fun watch, just like the series proper.
Yeah, and if you haven't been watching Aggretsuko, I'm not sure who I'd recommend it to personally, but it's a cute show, and I think people should watch it. Cause
anyone that's into like slice of life stuff, really. I mean,
it's hella slice of life.
If you're into slice of life and heavy metal.
This reminds me of a post someone made. They're like, imagine watching slice of life anime and wondering what happens next. They're like, bro, nothing.
Life goes on is what happens.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys have anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
No, I would just like highly recommend it. It's a fucking great show. Just don't get weird about it, man.
And see, Kyle very rarely gives a glowing stamp of approval, so you know it's good that way.
I like things. I'm just very critical on things.
I know you are, and that's why we love you.
There's no screaming goats in this, so it's all good.
It's true. There are no screaming goats in this.
Are there goats though?
There's goats, I'm sure, but they're not screaming at my face. So I mean, there's that.
They're not screaming for the lulz, so
it's true. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. We will be back again soon with another Christmas-themed episode. But until then, have fun holiday shopping or whatever it is you're doing right now. Don't try to kill anybody. That TV's not worth it.
That's more of a Thanksgiving thing.
Shut up, Kyle. Quit ruining my outro. All right, guys. We'll see you later.
See you next time.
Yeah, whatever.
Thanks for listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter to keep up with the show. Join our Discord to chat with us, and subscribe to our Patreon for some cool bonuses. Links are in the description. We'll see you next time.